High Court Judge and Paramount Chief of Doma under fire with a push tonight for sanctions against him for demanding termination of criminal trial of NDC MP elect for Asin North, James Dachikwesi.
That trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi. This matter cannot go on.
Constitutional provision, both the letter and spirit. And you're now Supreme Court Justice. He say, what will be his say?
The Domahine is not that old. He may be qualified at some point to go on to the Supreme Court. If at that time you face the appointments committee and these words are used against you, what will you say?
We'll hear from the Ghana Bar Association that had been critical of lawyers commenting on active cases in the courts. And Top Stories always brought to you by Vodafone. It was a daring declaration from a serving High Court judge that has tonight placed him under fire from within the legal profession and from the leadership of the MPP majority in Parliament. Domahine Osajefo Asadiayo Ajiman Bedu II had demanded the immediate termination of the criminal trial of the NDC MP elect for Asin North, James Dachikwesi, when he delivered the 10th John Evans Tamils Memorial Lecture. Tonight, there are calls for the General Legal Counsel to impose sanctions on him. We'll also hear from the Ghana Bar Association that just last week sharply criticized lawyers for running public commentary on pending cases before the courts. But first, what exactly did the High Court judge who doubles as the Domahine say?
Meka onimonyam for ba ko bi ofri Canada. I say Canada no ntena obi o. Be papa o de ato o ba Ghana beboa. Oba en ho nsensem bi nti. Onya amane.
Before I end, let me talk about this honorable man who returned from Canada. He decided he will no longer live in Canada. He renounced his citizenship to return home and help. When he came, a few issues have come up that has landed him in trouble.
I'm on Supreme Court, yes, Nabatwa Batu Ebenya de Benchum, Yamubi, no credit, man Casadia, Same was Supreme Court, Casad, Jinayan, Kame, Macolet, Kamen right. Nanenti and Kamakono, one sham, one bedi, Sasamiawo, Intimenko Kapi.
Just recently, the Supreme Court decided to annul his election as a member of Parliament. To be very honest, if I was on the Supreme Court, I would have dissented in that matter. As for the reasons I would have dissented, the matter is still in the courts, so I'll not go into detail.
Namo Mesra and the Attorney General of Ghana, where Emraman Kwame said, Adiabi Ekoso na Oshe Ghana for Enije Nima Otimiade Ochaso.
But I'm pleading with the Attorney General. The law allows him to end such prosecutions when the public are against it.
Now, Asin North, Bayer Papa Bacha, Nakonyanum, so MPB, Bankoto for Batoman and Asa Bantuamano. And you overwhelming majority no 57.56 or you be Ketwa Batum.
The voters have overwhelmingly endorsed the gentleman. 57% is not a small feat in an election.
As a matter of urgency, I'm appealing to the President of the Attorney General, President of the Republic. If he has any role to play, that trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi to end that particular decision. Sir, make a way because but was what ma ye did the Ghana for attempt. Ye did the Asin North for attempt.
I am saying this because if we continue, it will be an insult to Ghanaians and the people of Asin North.
Na Saudi Nigina Kota, Nabatwa Mani, MP Edman over and Agagro. And Koya, Amayan Shamra Papa, Amasabi, Ghana for a Nye Juma, and Mampuntua Kwa. I'll bet my blame no. It's on this day. Now my country says, Samri, you are president. You know I love you. This matter cannot go on. Attorney General, Odame, I had the share, not the share.
Well, today the Attorney General Godfred Yeboah Dame was asked for his reaction to the comments. This was what he told the press.
I'm not going to comment on it right now. I'll come up with a proper statement on the matter, and it will be in respect of all comments generally which have the tendency to subvert the administration of justice. I think that is very unhealthy for our democratic dispensation, and therefore we must not countenance it.
I want to bring in right now a renowned lawyer, Samuel Kujeto, who, of course, is a member of the General Legal Council. He's also a member of the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council and currently a member of the Council of State as well. We'll also be speaking to the GBA's spokesperson, the Ghana Bar Association spokesperson, Samuel Kuji. But I want to bring in right now Mr. Samuel Kujeto. Mr. Kujeto, thank you for your time here on Top Story. Hello, Mr. Kujeto.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you very much for your time here on Top Story, sir.
It's okay. What is the issue?
So, I'm pretty certain you've heard the comments from the serving judge and the Domahene, doubles as the Domahene. Your reaction to what you've heard already, he said about the termination of the trial involving James Achikwesing, who was recently elected MP for Asin North.
Yes, I heard that what he said. Actually, he spoke in Twi. I don't understand, but he spoke some in English, which of course I understood. And so I was actually shocked and surprised at the statement that he was making, particularly because he's a judge. He's a city judge. He's a high court judge. And I was surprised that as a high court judge, he should make statements of that nature, particularly in public. I was actually shocked because I would never even dream of making statements of that nature. I think it is shocking. If he felt anything which was wrong, he should rather have sought that person in private and maybe make a suggestion to him, which of course it is the power of the Attorney General to do what he decides to do. I don't think anybody has authority to tell him what he should do. So I was actually surprised.
Is there a violation of the code of conduct governing the conduct of judges, what you've heard him say?
Yes, of course, there is a code of conduct that forbids judges from interfering in matters, particularly when the matter is actually pending in court, for the judge to interfere in it. A judge has no right to try and tell another judge or another court what they should say or what they should do in a particular moment. That is not allowed. It's definitely not allowed.
Does it matter at all that in this particular instance he was speaking in his capacity as a Domahene or Sajifo Asadiayo Ajimambedu II?
I think that makes it worse. You know, there is something that worries me in this country of ours. We don't understand that a chief is held in such high esteem that he in his palace can confer with people, but that is in private. But to make a public pronouncement on a matter where you are the chief, as if you are giving an order to someone which you have no authority or power to do. But also the platform itself also becomes a little bit suspicious because it looks like it's like a political forum. And you know the Constitution forbids chiefs from interfering in politics or being involved in politics. That one, to tell you the truth, I think is just reasonable. Because you see, as a chief, you are a neutral arbiter where citizens will come to you with a problem. And when they come to you with a problem, your opinion, you even hold it to yourself. But you try to see how you can be able to resolve the matter between them. And since people in your constituency or your kingdom, you understand, may have people of various political opinions, affiliations, and the rest, but they must all still owe allegiance to you, obeisance to you, respect for you. You don't take a stand in any matter which could give a slant as if you are politically inclined to one side or the other. This was the basis why they were being forbidden from involving in politics. If you want to be involved in some politics, leave the stool and then go into the field. But once you're on the stool, it is forbidden. So this is why I was shocked at him making a statement that he's purported to have made.
You've said that the code of conduct that govern the actions of judges also expressly forbid something such as he's just been accused of doing or purported to have said. We've heard him, his utterances there. You're a member of the General Legal Counsel's Disciplinary Committee. Is this one that triggers your mandate?
No. In fact, I wouldn't even have been speaking with you if it was part of our mandate.
Is the judicial council?
You, the public, sometimes don't see to get the picture. The General Legal Counsel, the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Counsel, it deals with lawyers.
Lawyers, yeah.
Yes. Nothing to do with judges. The judges are dealt with by the
Judicial council.
by the Judicial Council.
Yeah.
I hope you get the difference. That is a matter for the Judicial Council, not for the Disciplinary Committee or the General Legal Council. We deal with practitioners. So we don't deal with judges. This is not our mandate.
Should the Judicial Council be interested in looking into this?
Well, definitely. In fact, if they don't take it up, it's the responsibility of any citizen to make a petition to them. Any citizen of Ghana has a right to petition the Judicial Council to look into the matter. So even you speaking to me, you have the power or the authority to make a petition as a citizen if you think that what the person has done is not in accord with the position of a judge. You have a right to make a petition to the Judicial Council to deal with it.
Expressly, though, what if the Judicial Council's mandate is triggered? What would they be interested? What would they be looking for? Because many will say he was simply speaking at the public forum and simply says the AG should file a nolle prosequi. But that's what he believes. But he was speaking in his capacity as a chief. Expressly, if the Judicial Council should be interested in this, what would they be looking for? What would they be probing?
Well, the question, of course, would be, why does a judge have a right to try and even try to condemn the Supreme Court judgment and say that if I were sitting, I would not give that kind of judgment? He has no business. It is repugnant. It is just bad manners. It is bad in every way. I mean, that is my opinion. It is bad. It is just not decent for a judge to make such kind of utterance.
Strictly speaking, though, is it misconduct on his part?
Well, isn't that a misconduct? If I say it is wrong, it means it's a misconduct.
And under the sanctions regime, what could be the sanction?
Don't ask me about that one. That's a matter for the Judicial Council.
Yes.
Because you see, the question is that we don't have precedents in some of these matters. Because it has not happened before. And so sometimes people think they can do it and get away with it. And that's the more reason why maybe one of you should actually make an attempt like that and bring the matter before the Judicial Council to see what they will do. And then that will set up as an example to others to say that you don't, as a sitting judge, go make statements of that nature. This is my view.
Will you bring this case before the Judicial Council? Because I guess you're also
No, it's
qualified to
not
do
my
so.
business. You don't get it. What I'm saying is that why are you asking me to do it when you can do it yourself? Why are you asking me to do it?
I guess it's the same reason when you
No.
also say I
You
could do.
Ghanaians like to pass the buck all the time. When something happens, you want somebody else to take it up. You were asking my opinion. I'll tell you my opinion. I say, to me, it is wrong. It is repugnant. It is what? It's senseless for a sitting high court judge to stand on a public platform and make utterance of that nature. This is my view. And if I were sitting in that disciplinary committee of the Judicial Council, I would have asked him to resign or ask him to be sacked as a judge. That's what I would have done. And you can let him be. If he hears this statement, I'm the one saying it. I'm Samakujato, and I stand by it.
I wonder if the rules allow the Judicial Council themselves to take these matters up without a petition.
Don't ask me a question like that. What I'm trying to say is that all of us, even we sitting on the Judicial Committee of the Bar Association, is somebody who makes a complaint to us, and then we take it up. We don't jump into the air. It's always useful when somebody comes, you better complain. This one, the thing is recorded. And so you send the recording to the Judicial Council, you tell them that this is what the person has said. We think there's something wrong with it. What do you say? And then it's their job to proceed as to the way they think it should be done. And as I said, when you do that, it becomes precedence. So that tomorrow, every judge will be on his guard now, not just to get up and just talk or come. Because you see, my view is that the society in Ghana now has become so corrupted to such an extent that any Tom, Dick, and Harry gets up and says whatever comes into his head without appreciating the effect that what he's saying has on the rest of society. This has been worrying me all these years. And I think it's getting completely out of hand. So I plead with you, since you have taken the trouble to ask me, I'm also making a plea to you. Take it up and make the complaint.
Thank you very much, Sam Okujoto. There is a member of the General Legal Council. He's currently a member of the Council of State. You heard on the line, Xavier Kuji, who speaks for the Ghana Bar Association, joins us now. Xavier, thanks for your time. You're on Top Story. You agree with your senior, Sam Okujoto?
Thank you, Evans, and good evening to your listeners. I agree with Senior Okujoto. Listening to the sound bites that you played, I see the comments being made in two capacities. One is his capacity as a chief, making a plea to the Attorney General to do the case against Mr. Kwesi by filing a nollie prosequi. And then the other aspect is that if you were part of the panel that decided that Mr. Kwesi's name be expunged from the records of Parliament, he would have dissented. That suggests to me that in that instance he was making it in his capacity as a judge. Evans, I think the comments are improper. I granted an interview in the morning to your sister station, Adom FM. I made it clear that even ended the Attorney General to take such a step, I believe that the proper thing was to do it in private, not in a forum like that. In any case, a lot of comments have been going around about this particular case, which is pending before court. And I don't understand. And those making the comments, looking at their stature and the kind of influence that they have, is worrying. We shouldn't encourage this. So for me, I don't think it's proper. If the argument is made that he was speaking as a chief at the function, no. If you look at the second leg of the comment, it was about his duty as a judge. If I were part of the panel, how could he have become part of the panel? Or probably, of course, as a judge. So I think that is unfortunate.
But specifically, Xavier, which rule has he breached here? And Sam Okujoto mentions it's misconduct. It frowns on the code of conduct for judges. But specifically, which rule has he breached? He simply says AG found on the prosecutor. If I was a judge, I would have held a different view.
Yeah. Evans, you see, Evans, you have a lot of influence as a journalist. If you say something today on air, it goes far. Nana is a chief, first and foremost, and also a judge. And when it comes to criminal matters, it is only the Attorney General that has the power and the discretion to enter nolli prosequi. He has every right to make such a suggestion, but the forum was not right. That is why I said in the morning to your sister station that if you were minded to suggest this to Attorney General is the official leader of the bar. You are a sitting High Court judge. If you invite him to say that, oh, I suggest you do this. You see, in all of this, the comments seem to appear as once somebody had won an election, a case must be discontinued against him. If I went to steal cassava and later they voted for me, will you say because my case is before court for stealing cassava because I had won an election, they should discontinue the case? Let's look at it well. Let us not create certain precedents. It will not help us. Because that is the import I'm getting, that because the man had won, the case against him must necessarily be discontinued. No. It is the Attorney General who can look at the circumstances and say that, look, looking at this case, I must exercise the discretion of entering a nolli prosequi in respect of the case. But to make such a suggestion, I think that is worrying.
But then what happens now? Lawyer Samukujoto has suggested the Judicial Council should take this up, but somebody needs to file a petition. Will you?
I wouldn't bail the cat.
Who should?
I wouldn't bail the cat because there are interested parties in this case. So they can do that. There are parties interested in this case. Even though every crime is against the Republic, but there are people who have interest in this matter. They can take it up.
Stay with me.
Because the Judicial Council actually is falls squarely within the domain of the Judicial Council.
And I asked the question earlier, can they by themselves take the matter up without a petition?
I don't think so.
Stay with me.
I don't think. But as I said, there are interested parties in this matter because I've heard very senior people in this country who also said that this comment is improper. People within their domain can take it up.
Stay with me, Xavier. I want to bring in your colleague and member of Parliament. He's also a member on the Parliament's Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee, Roxing Nelson Dafiamekpo. Thanks, sir, for your time here on Top Story. You agree this is one incident or case where the Judicial Council should step in and look into imposition of possible sanctions against the serving judge, who also doubles as the paramount chief of Doma?
Thank you very much, and good evening to your listeners. I disagree totally with the immoral suggestion being made that this matter be looked into by the Judicial Council, especially the Disciplinary Committee of the Judicial Council. On more grounds, I have in my hand the code of conduct for magistrates and judges in this country. They should show me any of the rules contained in the code of conduct for judges and magistrates in this country that the comment of the Domahini breached. The Domahini, first of all, is the paramount chief of the Doma traditional area, and he was invited to the function in that capacity. 2, he's a trained lawyer. 3, he's a member of the judiciary of this country. Is anybody saying that the Domahini in these various capacities cannot speak to a matter such as this in the manner that he did? Didn't the Attorney General himself go to court to say that Kwesi will go to jail? Didn't the Attorney General went to a court of law to make very prejudicial comments? Didn't the President of this Republic stand on a political platform and mention that Kwesi will go to jail? So if the Domahini in all this says that if all these prejudicial comments preceded the election and the election has been held, and he thinks that because he succeeded, the Attorney General should exercise his mandate under Article 88 and enter another prosecutor. What is so immoral about this matter?
And you say you don't find any provision in the Code of Conduct
I
that
have
expressly
in my
forbids
hand
this?
the other two speakers, the other two persons you have interviewed.
Samuel
Let them
Kujoto
show
and
me. Let them.
and
Yes,
Xavier.
he's my senior. But let him show you where in this code, the code from judges and magistrates, the code of conduct, they should show me one provision in that code that the conduct of the Domahini as a sitting High Court judge breached.
But Roxanne, surely as a serving judge of the High Court, when you stand in public and then declare that a case that is active should be terminated, and then you actually also go ahead to say that as far as the Supreme Court's judgment on the matter previously is concerned, if you were on the panel, you would have disagreed. When did you a serving judge?
You are mixing.
Isn't that inappropriate at least?
Hold on. His comment was in respect of the matter determined by the Supreme Court.
Yes.
If a matter is determined by the Supreme Court, the court has become functus officio. The court no longer stays with jurisdiction. So the matter is open now for criticism, whether constructive or otherwise. Anybody can criticize that judgment.
Is that matter not on review?
How is it on review? Who has filed the review? I'm not aware that there is any review in the matter.
If I recall correctly, the NDC filed for abridgment of time so they can study this, so that they can go ahead and file.
No, you see, he speaks in respect of the one that took place out of Parliament. That is the matter he spoke about, that if he were on that panel, he would have dissented. What is wrong if a judge says, I will dissent? What is wrong if a judge says, if I had opportunity, I would have dissented?
But Roxanne, it's highly unusual to have a judge who is a serving judge, stand in public and speak the way he did. Highly unusual.
Not at all. We have had seminars where sitting judges who are how do you call them? Sitting judges come to present papers, disagree with court judgments. That is also a public forum.
Yeah, but that's one. But what about a live criminal case in which that judge then asks the Attorney General and the President to terminate the trial?
That's the question, and so let me respond. Let me distinguish the speeches of the Revere Paramount Chief for you. In the case where he said he would have dissented was in respect of the Supreme Court decision that declared the earlier election by question as unconstitutional. He said if you were on that panel, you would have dissented. That was in respect of the civil matter. In respect of the criminal matter, he only makes a plea to the Attorney General.
It didn't sound like a plea. It was a
how
direct
did it
demand.
Sound?
That this case.
How did it sound? Did he command him? Did he put a gun to the head of the Attorney General?
Well, he was very clear. And talking about the rules, by the way, Roxanne, talking about the rules, that if you check the code that you refer to, Rule 4 on judicial comportment, honor, and dignity, A says, a judge must be the embodiment of all that is honorable and dignified. A judge must live with decorum and propriety at all times and must be reticent about cases pending in his court and generally refrain from discussing them outside court.
Okay, so is this matter pending before his court? You read the code, very clear. Is this matter pending before the court of Domahini? Why do you want to enlarge interpretation and create problems for people? Why? When it is not coming from our side of the political divide, we have issues. Why? I've asked you. You've read the code that is not applicable.
Well, let me bring you Sabia quickly to
wrap up. It's not applicable. What you have read is not applicable to the matter uttered by the Domahini that is under discussion.
Sabia, quickly to the question about the rule, the specific rule that, as Roxanne is arguing, there's no specific rule that expressly forbids what he had done.
Evans, there might not be a specific rule to that effect. What I know is that not everything can be written. But you can put interpretation to things that will include others. So, for example, if they say a case pending before you, we have only one high court in Ghana, manned by various judges. The case may not be before you, but maybe with another high court. But Evans, I still think that the proper way for a a sitting High Court judge who is also a chief, who may want to say something about a decision rendered by the Supreme Court, is to do a write-up, because I know judges and magistrates have a journal, to the benefit of all of us. But in a forum like that, I still think it's not proper for such discussions to be held. And if Roxanne is saying, he gave various examples, the president said this and that. I think at the beginning of the interview, I said that I had condemned that in the morning, that high-profile people commenting on this particular case and others on public platforms is distasteful. So we should all desist from that.
I mean, Roxanne, finally to you. You talked about, I read the rule out to you, and you insist it has to do with when the case is pending in your own court. But the case is pending in the High Court. He's a High Court judge. There's one High Court under this Constitution.
Now, there's only one High Court with different jurisdictions. I agree. In terms of subject matter, I agree. But the rule that you read cannot be applied against the Domahine in this matter. What exactly did he say about the criminal matter pending before the High Court? His speech was directed at the Attorney General. He didn't speak to the merits of the case. He said he would suggest that you enter a nolle prosequi. It is up to the Attorney General to say that I will accede to your request or I decline the invitation. What is so unholy, what is so unhealthy about this? But I have asked, where have all these persons been when the Attorney General himself stood in the courtroom and made very prejudicial comments about this very matter just 2 weeks ago? Where were they? Nobody condemned the Attorney General for the comments that he made in an open court. Nobody. I didn't hear any of them condemn the president for making the kind of comments he made about this very case.
I mean, on the Attorney General matter, I mean, I doubt if you make a lawyer makes a pronouncement before a court of competence jurisdiction, before a judge. You're saying that is one that is prejudicial, and the court itself didn't see the need to sanction.
If a chief prosecutor, the chief prosecutor of the Republic of Ghana, does not believe in the constitutional doctrine of innocent until proven guilty by a court of law, and will say that the accused person is likely to end up in jail, isn't that prejudicial?
Roxanne, thank you very much. Thank you also, Xavier, for your time. Xavier is a spokesperson for the Ghana Bar Association. Roxanne Dafiamekbo is a member of the Constitutional Legal Affairs Committee in Parliament. If you're wondering what exactly he said, the part that really has angered a few people with the suggestion that the Judicial Council should step in, this is it.
That trial should be aborted. The Attorney General should, as a matter of urgency, file a nolle prosequi. This matter cannot go on.
Newsnight starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. In the next 60 minutes, see something, say something. Ghana's key anti-terrorism measure to court public support to fight threats has been questioned by the UNDP as it reviews communities with the highest risk in the northern part of the country remain unaware of the initiative.
The release of the recent edition of the Global Terrorism Index confirmed the West African region as the hotbed of terrorism in the whole world.
We have details as the Minister for National Security says some countries in West Africa have been caught off guard by the terrorists. Excuses shifting timelines, yet government insists Agenda 111, which is next to none in the world, will be delivered before the end of President Akufo-Addo's tenure. Plus, abandoned health projects will be completed by end of 2023.
very major, massive infrastructure development in health in the world.
By 2024, are you hoping that Trede will be completed?
Trede, everything, if everything goes well, the construction will complete, God willing, by the end
of this year. We'll get to hear from the presidential advisor as he refutes assertions that doctors are leaving Ghana due to low remuneration. Here's why.
Doctors, for example, don't just go out there to go and work because maybe it's because of money. Every young doctor wants to be a specialist.
And also, day one of the 4 days of NPP vetting exercise concludes with aspirants confident of sailing through to the next stage of the elections.
As you're all aware, I've been through this exercise on several other occasions, so I'm quite familiar and comfortable with this process.
I am one of the first people that will come through the shortlist. Then from that, the November election, inshallah, I will most definitely win the election.
We have details as there's a lineup of 3 aspirants, including former General Secretary Kobne Japong, among the next aspirants to face the vetting committee tomorrow. We have business.
Stability of the city for the next half of the year will strongly depend on assessment of Ghana's economic program with the IMF in September. We'll hear from currency analyst Courage Buti.
And in sports, from a Ghana International slam the Ghana Football Association for the decline of the game and the poor showing of various national teams in recent time. We'll hear from Derek Boatin and Ajman Bedu shortly.
And in a surprising comeback, Kumasi Anglican Secondary School have been crowned 2023 Ashanti Regional Champions of the NSMQ after beating Prempeh College to make their debut win.
We told our students to just work hard and the glory will be theirs. So we thank God that finally the glory has been ours. Yes.
We have that and more in tonight's edition of News Night. Do well to join us with your thoughts and comments. It's via WhatsApp 055-1111-997. You're watching or listening live on Facebook. You can, or social media platforms. You can tweet at us with a hashtag Newsnight. I am MFA Apau.
And my name is Evan Spencer. Details after this.
Credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before. Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you don't use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now you be high tech, so you don't use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back. Into your Vodafone cash account. We'll reload the app, but then you enter. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana cedi or more in Vodafone's demo promotion and receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
Wouldn't you prefer an apartment hotel? One that offers the utmost convenience of a boutique hotel while offering the idyllic comfort of your own private home. Oasis Park Residences offers luxury studios, 1, 2 and 3 bedrooms both for short and long-term rental at competitive rates. Our sky swimming pool, gourmet outdoor restaurant and a fully equipped gym rest on a breathtaking rooftop with panoramic views of the city. Oasis Park Residences, located at Shiashi, Tetekwashi, 10 minutes from the international airport, is the ideal place for all your accommodation needs. Why don't you give us a call on 020-4343-009 or visit our website at oasisparkresidences.com to make your reservations. Oasis Park Residences, more than a home.
My name is Nanama McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano, I like the best, and when I find it, I stick to it. I have found Bell Pack Tea Roll, and I'm stuck with it. It is soft but not weak, strong but not hard. It is just perfect. Bell Pack Tea Roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same as Bell Pack Kitchen Towel. It cleans in one wipe. You can soak, squeeze, and clean again. One Bell Pack Kitchen Towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue. Say pocket tissue, table napkins, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect.
To be a Bell Pack distributor, call 055-11-44400. Another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
Thanks for staying with us here on Newsnight. To our very first story for tonight, a report commissioned by the United Nations Development Authority, a program, UNDP, is questioning the effectiveness of government's key anti-terrorism initiative to get public support to fight threats. Well, the report, Vulnerability Assessment on the Threat of Violent Extremism and Radicalization in Northern Regions in Ghana, reviews communities most at risk in the northern part of the country remain unaware of the See Something, Say Something initiative. We'll be getting details of the report shortly, but first, more Burkinabés are trooping into Ghana to seek refuge following attacks on their communities by armed insurgent groups. The arrival of these refugees has raised security and health concerns in the Upper East region. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
And looking very exhausted. These are people from Tarim Nwaga, a community somewhere in the south of Burkina Faso. They are here in Ghana at the Yarga number 2 community in Pusiga in the Upper East region seeking refuge. They say a few weeks ago, their community was attacked by armed men believed to be members of an insurgent militant group. At least 5 people were killed and the rest of them had to run for their lives. Osmani Sebgo, one of the refugees, calls them Boko Haram.
We were there at Taramnaga. These Boko Haram people came there and told us that they want us to leave the place. We thought they were joking. For some number of days they came back, and when they came, they succeeded killing about 5 people in our presence, slaughtered them. And when they did that, it now tells us that everybody should run away. So we have to run away. We escaped from Taramnaga in our community, and we went to Sanga. And when we went to Sanga, we got to Sanga and realized that that place too is not safe because they are coming there threatening the people that they will kill them. So we have nothing to do than to escape to Ghana, where some of our relatives are.
Some of the refugees arrived 2 weeks ago, and others followed later. An estimated 1,500 of them are currently in various parts of the Pusiga district. A lot of them are women and children, even toddlers as young as 8 months old.
As we are here, we didn't come with anything. And we are here, the people are helping us, and we are also helping ourselves small, and that's how we live. Nobody comes here to support us. Our people, even that we left there, we don't even know what is happening there. We want food for our children and ourselves. And look at the small children that are here, no school.
At the Yarga number 2 community, where many of the refugees first arrived, the Ghanaians here are finding it difficult to give them shelter, let alone food. Here is the chief of the community.
With your small family, at least 10 people in the family, and about 40 or 50 people come to add you. How are you going to feed them? Even you with your 10 people, it gets to some time that you have to buy and add. And now another people have come to join you. How are you going to manage it? So as for the food situation, it's an issue to them.
And MF, you know, apart from the food situation and the influx of these refugees, the main concern for the Ghana Refugee Agency has been the possibility of terrorist elements infiltrating the ranks of these refugees to cause havoc in Ghana. We've been listening to Albert Kandapa, who has been speaking at the United Nations headquarters during the Counter-Terrorism Week, and he's been talking about the challenge facing many West African countries when it comes to these terrorist groups. He says some countries in West Africa have been caught off guard by the terrorists.
The reality is that many African countries, particularly those in West Africa, least expected that the threat profile in the region would evolve in a manner where terrorism would emerge as the foremost threat to statehood. As a result, little efforts were made to invest in building the right kind of resilience that is needed to prevent the spread of terrorism. And so as the menace continues to spread from the Sahel region to coastal West Africa, I must say that a number of countries in the region have been caught off guard. We are now raising against time to simultaneously enhance our military capability and invest in non-kinetic interventions, mainly along border communities considered to be vulnerable to radicalization and terrorist infiltration. And all of these are being done at a period where our economies are yet to fully recover from the shocks of the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects of the unfolding conflict in Ukraine. At the regional level, efforts at curbing the spread of terrorism and violent extremism have led to the emergence of multi-country security mechanisms. The Accra Initiative is one of such regional security mechanisms aimed at preventing the spread of terrorism from the Sahel region to coastal West African states along the Gulf of Guinea.
Well, he's been making reference to that global counter-terrorism report, and he mentions that it confirms West Africa, which includes Ghana, as the hotbed of terrorism in the world.
It is important to improve upon the governance of the various countries. We need to have more democratic forms of governance. We need to improve upon inclusivity in the governance of the country. We need to ensure that civil societies are given a role to play in the governance of the country. And above all, that the accountability mechanisms that exist in the various countries are also made to work such that the governments of their respective countries can be held to account. I think, ladies and gentlemen, we have very limited time to act. The atrocities unfolding in the Sahel region and West Africa reveal the sheer scale of threat confronting us. The release of the recent edition of the Global Terrorism Index confirmed the West African region as the hotbed of terrorism in the whole world.
That's the National Security Minister, Albert Kandapa, there speaking in the United Nations headquarters.
Well, just last year, the Ministry of National Security launched this anti-terrorism campaign and to create awareness, getting citizens just like yourself to see something. If you see something, to say something. The Citizens Awareness Campaign was to encourage the public to get involved, to be vigilant. Well, but the UNDP a year on, they've commissioned a report, and that report says communities, especially in northern Ghana, northern Ghana is most at risk when it comes to the potential for terrorist attacks, are completely unaware of the See Something, Say Something campaign, and even the slogan that it was designed to get the public to move along with the ministry in executing this. Maxwell Baba joins us in the studio with details of this. Maxwell, what did it say about the See Something, Say Something campaign specifically?
Well, Evan, so the report has been sharing how we can reduce or eliminate the vulnerabilities of these communities. It talks about youth empowerment, and then it moves on to talk about improved information sharing, intelligence gathering, early warning, and collaboration. It says, most importantly, we have to improve public awareness of information campaigns such as the See Something, Say Something campaign. And it says so far communities are unaware of what it means. It goes on to say that the slogan must be exhaustively translated into local languages. For now, they say that is non-existent, so it's difficult for the communities to actually interpret and carry on the message of what we're trying to preach. And then it goes on to talk about improved information sharing across government agencies in the northern part of the country, and then improved data collection on firearms related injuries in hospitals and clinics. Now, the report mentions that aside from poverty, limited opportunities, and high youth unemployment and underemployment, they are the cross-cutting themes across all 5 regions in the northern part, of the country. It says across all the 5 regions, poverty, unemployment are an ever-present critical factor and cause for possible violent extremism due to unemployment and high poverty levels. It says even for those with education, people are willing to accept anything that is offered. Even for those who are educated, they are willing to accept anything.
In other words, they become
that is
easy
offered.
targets for terrorist cells who want to recruit, taking advantage of the poverty and lack of education to exploit that space.
Exactly.
Well, let's bring in Albert Yelyang. He's the national coordinator of the Ghana office of the West African Network for Peace Building. We're grateful for your time here on Newsnight. So, looking at the details that the UNDP puts out in terms of the See Something, Say Something project, you are in the field also. Let's talk about your own assessment so far of this particular initiative. It's yielded the results that we needed?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that the See Something, Say Something is a good mantra and agenda set by the government. You know, if you look at the face of it, the government has also, as I heard the minister, Honorable Minister, speak, you know, about the strategies, the various multidimensional strategies and whole of community or stakeholder approach that has been adopted by the government, which we think, is good. We also think that that needs to be expanded more to involve many more people, and so that the expansion of this See Something, Say Something, mantra can be well resonated with the populations. Because it looks to me, and many of the conversations we've been having, interacting at the community level, the larger population of the communities and are those that are at risk of violent extremism, recruitment, and radicalization do not seem to be aware, and alert on their own, and also to expand the conversation around the awareness of violent extremism, and especially the See Something, Say Something. So we might see it as a good initiative, but how then do we localize that, so that every Tom, Dick, and Harry within the communities, and especially those that are at risk, at the border communities and inland communities. So let's not focus only at the border communities. There are also some inland cities and communities that are at risk and are serving as some kind of recuperation centers for potential extremists, or extremists. So we need to expand the conversation so that it does not become elitist. Because, as I said, at the community levels, there are many people who are not aware. So we need to deepen the awareness, involve many more civil society organizations. As the state set the agenda, involve many more community stakeholders, the chiefs, religious leaders, so that everyone can expand the conversation. Otherwise, it can only become an elitist narrative that probably those who are closer to the issue or working with the issues are the ones who know. Recently, the government has been pushing messages through the telcos, and to people's phones. I think that's also a good thing to do, so that anyone that has a mobile phone would receive the message. But to the extent of what that really means is also very important, that we can rope in another strategy, to make people know what really those messages mean and what they should do with it. What do they need to look out for, or what do they need to see that they can say, and to who, and how do they say it is very important. So building networks among the various stakeholders, including the security agencies, that then can complement the intelligence that they are gathering, for any reaction is very important. And first and foremost, if the community members are aware and alert, then they are very conscious of their own environment, wherever they find themselves, and then can also support by observation anything that they may see around somewhere else. In their community.
Well, Mr. Young, I'm curious. All this while, we are the view that many of these messages were translated into the local language for the locals, at least most of them who are not the elites and who are supposed to understand it and actually see something and say something. So all this while, from what you know on the ground, how then has this message been communicated to them?
Many of them would see this message as just ordinary messages they have been receiving. Push messages from the telcos. Now, we need to follow that up with a certain conversation. How do we interact with them? I have just recently, by an activity by the NCC, National Commission for Civic Education, and also before then, UNDP had some awareness raising from Wa to Tumu to Paga to Zebela to Bolgatanga to Bongo, several communities, in the western region, where we also Ohoy and all that, and the conversations or the reports from the various populations, I forgot to mention Kumasi, indicates that many of the people are really not aware, even though there has been a translation and sent to some of them. And as I said, some also see it as just ordinary push messages from the telcos. How do we follow that up with certain strategies that will let people know what they are receiving, the impulse of it, what it intends to do with the various populations that receive it. That is something that we need to push as an agenda.
Okay. We are grateful for your time. That's Albert Yel Young. He's the National Coordinator of the Ghana Office of the West African Network for Peace Building there. Should we bring in also the government spokesperson on security and governance, Paul Griff Boachi Dankwa. Thank you so much for your time. I'm really wondering, looking at this particular report from the UNDP, first off, though, what's government's reaction to this particular report or the findings that most of the people who are supposed to be seeing something and say something are really not aware about this campaign?
I'm not sure that is an accurate description of what is happening on the ground. When government, through the Ministry of National Security and the Ministry of Information, jointly launched the campaign to educate the Ghanaian people on the threats of terrorism, government's goal was to ensure that this campaign is translated into the various dialects and languages in the country. The launch was together with the Ministry of Information, which meant that the various ISDs went into the various communities to disseminate the information that had happened at the national office. And so this comes as a huge surprise that UNDP is stating that the campaign hasn't reached its goal. You'll recall that there was an incident of some persons who were on a motorbike, and it was purported that their outfits looked like terrorists, for which reason there was news all around the country. It is as a result of the fact that the message had gone down well, and so the whistleblower saw these people riding on the motor and blew the whistle.
Okay, but Mr. Dankwa, let me find out from you. We've seen the UNDP's report. I'm yet to see any monitoring and evaluation report from government. Is there anything like that?
Government has a monitoring
since you launched this particular project, See Something, Say Something, has there been an independent monitoring and evaluation that has been done such that we can see exactly what has happened since we launched it?
Absolutely. Government evaluates its policies every now and then. It might not necessarily come into the public domain.
Where can I find that report, for instance? I've seen the UNDP's report.
If you would allow me, government re-evaluates its policies that comes out. It may not necessarily come into the public domain, but it directs the policy implementation and the effectiveness of that. When we began the See Something, Say Something campaign, and we went around the entire country and also put a short code 999 and encourage people to see anything and then be able to communicate that. You'll recall that in recent times, because of government's own efforts of evaluating the policy that had come out, we See Something, Say Something. We are now working very closely with the telcos. And so every now and then you will get a message on your phone, which is part of government's efforts of monitoring and evaluating to ensure that the message reaches the grassroots of the Ghanaian people.
Okay, we are grateful. That's the government spokesperson on security and governance, Paul Griff Boachi Dankwa.
You're listening to News Night is on Joy 99.7 FM. This is your election headquarters. And the New Patriotic Party, they've begun the vetting of the many presidential hopefuls. 10 people, 10 individuals who are vying to lead the party into the 2024 elections will come before the party's vetting committee, and it began today with some heavyweights. Samuel Mbura was there at the party headquarters for us all day and joins us in the studio right now. Samuel, it started with Alan Chermanting, the former trades minister, who is sounding confident that he's already sailed through and is actually looking forward to going back onto the campaign trail and campaigning as if this is already a done deal.
Exactly, Evans. Mr. Lanchemante, after the vetting, did not speak to the details of what actually transpired, but confident of going through the process successfully because he has been there before and announced that right after this exercise, he will hit the grounds to continue his campaign tours.
I had a good interaction with the committee. As you're all aware, I've been through this exercise on several other occasions, so I'm quite familiar and comfortable with this process. I think the important thing for you is to know that tomorrow I will start my constituency tours in Greater Accra. I have decided that I'll introduce an innovation into my constituency tours by clustering constituencies for the purpose of bringing our party executives together, not just within their own constituencies, but in a few other constituencies in the cluster. That will help energize the rank and file of our party. I mean, it's all about making sure that we work together as a party in our march towards victory 2024. So I hope we can work collaboratively with you on these rounds that will begin tomorrow.
May we know some of the issues that came up in the vetting?
No, it is not appropriate for us to discuss issues that have been discussed in camera. That has been the tradition and practice of our party.
So Mr. Tremonti will not discuss the specifics, but Kojo Poku also came before the committee, and there was one issue that we were all anticipating may come up, which is the questions around whether he's been a card-bearing member of the party for the constitutionally required at least 5 years.
Exactly, Evans. So for you to be in good standing and eligible to contest the flag bearer race, you must be 5 years of good standing. You must be of good character. Kojo Poku says that he has all these credentials to sail through the process.
Well, the party constitution says that anybody that wants to stand has to have a minimum years of 5 years membership in good standing. I qualify, and that's what matters.
And are you ready to pull through this race? We know after everything, it doesn't end there.
Why would anybody lead their supporters along the way when they have now gone this far? I started this process last year, February, and with all the support I have across the nation, it shows that I am the one who the youth of this nation are looking forward to. I don't see anyhow, any form that I'm going to look. The 5 that is going to be shortlisted, I am one of the first people that will come through the shortlist. Then from that, the November election, inshallah, I will most definitely win the election.
What about Dr. Baumia? Was he there himself? Obviously, he had to be vetted, but did he speak to you afterwards?
Not really. After that, there was a mob around him, so he had to move away with his security guards. But one of his technical advisors, one Alice Raj, indicated that the signal is still strong for the Baumia campaign team.
Our vision is to bring somebody who can help the country Ghana. If you look at Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, how he helped his boss, the president of the nation, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you see that the man is very humble. The man is unifier. The man understands what is leadership. He has never had a problem with his boss. That alone gives him 100% confidence that he can run this league.
How are the delegates resonating with your message, and how strong is your signal?
Well, the signal is very strong, and I'm telling you with confidence, with no doubt in my mind, this election is a done deal for the vice president of.
So people sounding very confident. People sounding very confident after the vetting. What about going forward? This is 3 down today. We have at least 7 more to go.
Exactly. So tomorrow we have Honorable Boakye Jako, who is a former energy minister, Kwabena Ejapong, former general secretary of the party, and Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejapong. These are the 3 that are expected to come before the vetting committee for tomorrow, and subsequent aspirants. Subsequently, the other aspirants will also get their turn to be vetted.
Okay, that's something that we'll be keeping a close watch on for you. So live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. After the break, we'll take you to our latest series, the floods of trauma. Details of that pretty shortly. And then the latest from the NSMQ.
Well, that's sad news there. James Lutrot, he represented Keta SHTS, one of the contestants, and sadly passed on. We're getting details from the National Science and Maths Quiz, the organizers themselves. We have all that and more shortly after business with Beverly Broom. Hello, Beverly.
Hi, MFR.
What's in business?
Welcome to the new world of business. That's MTN, one sponsor of business news on Newsnight, as well as Ghana Pay and Alliance Life. Coming up in our headlines, stability of the city for the next half of the year will strongly depend on assessment of Ghana's economic program with the IMF in September. We'll hear from currency analyst Courage Buti. Also, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Tuahine disputes assertions that international rating agencies have been reckless in downgrading Ghana's economy. We have details after this break.
From the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year.
Nana, who's not land you? He did a port right.
Here are your items. Thank you for coming.
Yes, 2 for 10 cedi, me no 10 cedi, 2 for 10 cedi.
However you do business, wherever you do business, MTN Business has a solution for you. Join us on 14th July at the Kumasi Mall and 28th July at the Rollins Park in Accra Central. To learn how to do more and stay ahead of the pack, visit mtn.com.gh/business or call or WhatsApp 0244 308111 for enquiries. It's time to scale up this July with MTN.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHF, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Luxurious affordable living is your right, and no one understands it better than BOT Properties. BOT Properties specializes in modern residential buildings and commercial office spaces. Our properties include the Equator, a 12-story made up of over 100 apartments near Accra Mall. Other Equator courts, we offer you the deluxe living experience with our top-of-the-range homes, high-quality homes built with style and precision to suit your lifestyle. The Equator Courts is a gated community with 2-story, 4-bedroom detached houses at Ogbojo, East Legon, near American House. Our office complexes include Zion House, Shiashi, East Legon, Zion House, Sofa Line Interchange, Kumasi. Our offices and apartments are for both rental and outright purchases at affordable prices and with flexible payment terms. Kindly contact us on 0257 960 919 or visit botproperties.com. BOT Properties, the new meaning of affordable luxury.
Do you know Flamingo Paint has superior properties than any other paint brand on the market? Listen, when you take 1 bucket of Flamingo Paint, it's equal to several buckets of any paint brand on the market. So, Flamingo has superior hiding properties, superior coverage, it means it covers, and superior durability. Flamingo Paint, superior hiding. Flamingo Paint, superior coverage. Flamingo Paint, superior durability. Flamingo Paint, simply superior. No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a strong, a tough.
Media Sambisanda Moa. It's your Ratiano, Moo, I pun it to be fit no more put on Pemona Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No Moo wants me to be just my member in that day. And the crow, corporate to me number of people, so you super accident ever. I didn't have been to Braille. Who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I now could you soon use super accident Chaco. Then dear, a mouse, and we are creating fit of that. No, what you ask you, my mother feel you. Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Charcoal. I've idea. You're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadion Katuyatu.
Thank you so much for staying with us. I am Beverly Broom to our very first story, and currency analyst and research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Butia, stated that the performance of the Ghana cedi in the next 6 months will heavily depend on the economic assessments by the IMF in September. The Ghana cedi ended the first half of this year with a better performance than the same period last year. According to Bloomberg, the cedi lost about 11.21% to the US dollar, yet was still classified among African currencies with worse spot returns. Speaking to Joy Business, Mr. Buti said meeting the IMF benchmarks will be crucial in helping the cedi.
Looking ahead, we need to implement the program and implement it well with credibility. A first review is impending. If we do the mid-year review and then we suggest to the investor market that we are making progress with the macro reforms and then the structural reforms that we are targeting, if we can successfully pass the first review, which will be done in September, and I believe the investment sometime in November, if we can successfully pass that, it is a good signal to the market that we are on course. And those will be some positives. Of course, we've not had so much of a cocoa board going to market this time round, but it's a likelihood. And if they go, the inflow.
Well, you heard the currency analyst and research lead at GCB Capital, Courage Buti. Now, researcher and banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahene has stressed that there's no evidence indicting the rating agencies S&P, Moody's and Fitch, which have been reckless in downgrading the Ghanaian economy in the past 11 years. Dr. Etuahene made the assessment that publishing a research work showing that Ghana has rather received favorable ratings until recent times when the country started overborrowing and unable to serve the rising debt stock of 11%. Now, speaking to Joy Business, he argued that a careful analysis of the methodologies used by the rating agencies for Ghana is the same used for developed countries like the United Kingdom.
We borrowed and borrowed and borrowed, but if you ask me, what have we got to show? So those who are saying that they are not fair to Africans, who told the Africans to go for ratings? If Africans can finance their economy, there is no need to go to international market to borrow. There is no need if we can manage our resources. Nobody forces us to go and borrow. If you read the literature, when Ghana wanted to borrow in 2007, when Dr. Bawumia was part of the team, they started doing their homework from 2023 before they go to 2027, trying to put the economy in order and fiscal discipline. Because at that time, we needed to borrow to build the Bui Dam. Who are arguing? I'm sorry, those who are arguing that they are not fair to Africans, I don't know. But the methodology used for Ghana is the same methodology used recently on the British economy. And the British economy was that
Now to some other stories. As part of supporting family businesses to aid in the creation of jobs, government has been entreated to support the sector. According to convener for the Africa Family Business Summit, Dr. Dennis Owusu-Oteng, more sensitization program should be held to help Ghanaians understand and acquire more knowledge about the family business schemes. He spoke to Joy Business at the 2023 edition of the Africa Family Business Summit.
The education model of Ghana should consider teaching family businesses from the basic schools. So a lot of times businesses start on the wrong note. They need to get it from the beginning. So for businesses to get it well, in the curriculum, family business management and the knowledge of family business management or practice should be taught at the basic level. So with that, when they have it like that, it's easy so that in the nearby future, because family businesses contribute largely to the employment of the Ghanaian economy. They contribute to the GDP.
Dr. Dennis Owusu-Oteng is the convener for the Africa Family Business Summit. Now, finally, the German corporation says it is investing 53 million euros in capacity development training for agricultural entrepreneurs up to 2027. Speaking to Joy Business, technical advisor GIZ Melanie Hindara said the project, dubbed Business Support Facility for Resilient Agriculture Value Chain, seeks to transform the lives of many in the sector, especially women.
GIZ, the Agribusiness Facility for Africa, together with GIZ Move Cashew, we have launched the very first training of Gender Makes Business Sense Plus. And we made it better for scaling, and we also worked on the business modules. The entire volume of the project is 53 million euros. And then some of them is going into the development of the new training approaches. We have the core output, which is the matching grant fund. And then we also have an output for South-South exchange, where stakeholders can exchange about how the implementation went. Maybe one country has developed a very innovative strategy, and this can be shared then with other countries for the same value chain.
On that note, we end business news on Newsnight, brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Ghana Pay and Alliance Life.
Thank you very much, Beverly. Let's do sports now, and Ms. Bao is here with the latest. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Hello, Evans. Well, it's former Black Stars players Derek Boateng and Emmanuel Ajimanbedu. They've been lashing out at the Ghana Football Association for the decline of Ghana football and the poor showing of the various national teams, and this comes on the heels of Black Meteor's painful exit from the group stages in the Under-23 AFCON tournament. And of course, that also follows the performance of the Black Galaxies at the Chan tournament earlier this year when they exited from the group stage, and the Black Stars at the World Cup and the AFCON tournament last year, where they exited from the group stages respectively. According to Derek Boateng, he says things must change urgently as the FA seems to have no idea what they are doing. And for former Under-22 and 20 World Cup winning midfielder Ajimanbedu, the FA and other football authorities must be probed by a committee to unravel what is really wrong with Ghana football.
I don't know how they approach this tournament. They haven't had preparation. They never prepare for that tournament. Like I'm saying, football has been played outside before you go to the field. And for me, we haven't done enough, to be in the Olympic Games. That's the results, because sometimes they think when you invite the players, then they have to go on the field and perform. No, it's not like that anymore. So for me, I think a lot of things have to be changed. A lot. I don't know what the FA is doing. For me, I don't think they know what they are doing. They don't know what they are doing.
They need to have an emergency meeting this week and bring a 7-member committee out. Even the government can involve somebody because they pay. They are paying you the players. So the government can involve somebody, the sports ministry. What is the use of Mr. Abedi Peles, the Tony Buffos, the Stephen Appiers, the Suleiman the migration? Bring them on board. Let them have a 7-member committee and check what is really going on. Let them call people, ask them relevant questions. The rumors we are hearing, relevant questions. These individual people, bring them on board. Let's speak out. maybe when you get them 1v1 like this, they may talk. Then we take some positive things from there. Then we build on it.
So you heard Emmanuel Anjiman-Bedu, former Black Stars player, and earlier we heard from Derek Boateng there. And just news coming in is that the board and management of Kumasi Asante Kotoko have been dissolved by Otumfuo, who's the club owner, and it follows the club's trophyless season in the just ended Ghana Premier League and FA Cup campaign in Ghana. So that's it for sports, brought to you by President Hebo and Chaco. President, every smile matters.
So Piao Asante Hene has spoken. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. Now we'll stay in the Ashanti region because we'll talk about floods of trauma series and flood water spread. They threaten lives, inundate homes and businesses, destroy property in the process, damage and prevent access to essential needs. So Nana Boache Dankwa Yadom visits residents of Dichemso in the Ashanti region who are facing apprehension as their homes experience consistent floods. He has our floods of trauma series for today.
This isn't a moat house, neither is it a stilt building. This is an ordinary home in Dichemso, a popular community in Kumasi. In a traumatic event such as flooding, residents experience difficulty sleeping. They get depressed, angry and heightened feelings of anxiety.
So you can see, it takes some tactics or techniques to get into this building. So residents have adopted another route. Instead of using this particular gate, they would have to use another stretch. Even at some point in time, they have to jump this particular wall before they can get out of their house.
With the slightest formation of dark clouds, Ukraine Yakwa trembles. Her house is flooded after a downpour a week ago.
In so tower has say that woman say when your baby and just a year, just hope you are wanting. I got trouble about 3 hours, 4 hours, and sana waba inside.
When it rains, it gets to my neck. When the house floods, you have to go out for about 3 hours before you can get back to the house.
A year, and then the area have another Muhanya at a check. Can I crack a moon to me, Jana say? Last Raffany area and then I'm here, Valanda Muha.
The flood waters reached the window level of the building and covered almost all her personal belongings in her room. Days after the heavy flooding, she is still counting her losses.
See, to me, I'm a bus book in me for to me go school. It is an art,
We are suffering. My child is unable to go to school because his books get wet. My room is flooded.
Mattress in our say, your baby, I say.
Now this is the means of exit for anybody in this particular building. Because the house has flooded, they use this wall, this fence wall, as a means of exit.
Streams in the community are blocked with gutters clogged. This isn't enough to properly channel the water at a rate that allows it to fully transport all the dirt, twigs and leaves it collects, causing floods in the community.
Now all gutters in this community is connected to this particular stream. The stream is unable to house the water because it is covered with sand. To allow the stream collect all the water, they have to scoop out the sand, and that is what is going on here.
When it rains, the stream is unable to contain the water. This area gets flooded anytime it rains. When it happens, it breaks down the walls and destroys properties.
The Dichemso Community Mosque closer to the stream has flooded, leaving worshippers to adopt a smaller space for worship. Amos Mensah has been in the community for the past 12 years. He narrates the situation anytime there is a downpour.
Because of a formula, I say, and so not our saying. A strong quan as I say, a yeguma, so here from concern that that's time because of Sabi Papa and Yamisan kind of and so
This nice mosque isn't functional anymore because of flood. We only use a small portion. When it rains, you can't use this route. The problem here is huge. This is the main Mensha road. The Kumasi airport is just here. They should do something. We even see crocodiles in the stream sometimes.
The flooded mosque can be described as a pond for fishing. They want government to help solve the flood problem in the community.
We plead with the government to do something about this for us. We don't have any money to rent a new house.
Authorities should fix the gutters for us. If not, our challenge will continue anytime it rains.
For Joy News, my name is Nana Boache Dankwayado, Kumasi.
And my name is Evans Mensa.
I am Emefa Apau.
Well, endless list of excuses leading to a shift in original timelines. Yet government insists the Priority Health Infrastructure Project, also known as Agenda 111, which has been described as one of a kind in the world, will be delivered before President Akufo-Addo hands over power to the next government in 2025. The project was to originally deliver 101 district hospitals, 7 regional hospitals, and 3 psychiatric hospitals in Kumasi and Tamale. But according to the 2023 budget, 89 district hospitals and 2 psychiatric hospitals in Tamale and Kumasi are under construction.
Well, Trede District Hospital was the first to start in 2021, but is currently at 61%. But the Presidential Advisor on Health, Dr. Anthony Nsiansari, insists it will be delivered in spite of the several shifts in timelines.
Luckily, they've been able to clear the land, foundation have been done, the contractors are moving to site to continue. So if you look at all these things, so already 4 sites are coming to be added on the Zone 8 sites. So that instead of only 12 of them be working, there will be 16 of them all working.
It appears that we have a lot of excuses when it comes to this particular project, because from the very onset, we knew that we need land for this. But 21 months down the line, if we are still getting excuses about land and the topography and the nature of the land,
we sorted all of them out.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. If you go to Adijama in the Ahafuano southeast, they have to cut the land continuously for over because it was so hilly. And they have to make it flat.
So what was the timeline for Trader, for instance, when it was launched in 2021?
The Trader, when we did on 2021, Trader also had cutting issues. They have to cut a lot.
Well, that's Dr. Anthony Nsiansari. Well, the full interview on The Probe is available on the YouTube channel. It's time for National Science and Maths Quiz. And well, the profound exhilaration swept through the camp of Kumasi Anglican Secondary School after beating 5-time national champions Prempeh College to win the 2023 Ashanti Regional Championship of the competition. Emmanuel Bright-Kweku has more.
In fact, we were not expecting this win. We came with a strategy because our students have really worked hard. We told our students to just work hard and the glory will be theirs. So we thank God that finally the glory has been ours. Yes. So we are not expecting it, but at the end of the day.
I'm actually interested. I was sitting at the back there and I realized these guys could actually come. They can do something and win.
In fact, they are our main contestants.
Well, so that's Emmanuel Bright-Kweku's report, and a rather sad news also that's coming in related to the National Science and Maths Quiz. James Lutrot, one of the contestants for Keta Senior High Technical School, that's a team member. He made his school very proud, but unfortunately has passed on, and the National Science and Maths Quiz has been tweeting about it, amongst others. My colleague, Maxwell Agwagba, senior NSMQ reporter, joins us in studio, of course, with details of what we are learning about this particular situation. Maxwell, what do we know?
Yes, so MFR, the NSMQ handle on Twitter just posted, we are deeply saddened to learn of the passing of James Lutrot. As a history-making NSMQ 2021 Keta SATS team member, he made his school and region proud as the first school from the Volta region at the NSMQ final. It says our thoughts are with his family at this difficult time. And we have some comments and that this one here from Kelvin Ishon says, God created a very beautiful world, but people living in it are cruel and wicked. Rest in peace, bro. Sleep well. This one here from Dr. Rashid Al Hassan says, so unfortunate. Condolences to the family. This one here says, Quiquintry says, rest well, young man. It goes on and on. But we have an audio of him in the 2021 finals of the National Science and Maths Quiz. Prempeh College won that particular year, 2021, with 53 points. Presec had 49 points. Katasco had 30 points. We have James Lutrot answering a question right in this audio.
This is it. This is why we are here. An opportunity to lift this trophy, right? Once again, design a vaccine for viruses with high mutation rate, such as the cold and flu viruses. All right, Prempeh College. Many protein fragments are represented so that the immune system overreacts. Evans?
False.
Yes. The vaccines tend to be unstable and deteriorate over time.
It's a false statement.
Yes. Specific virus may quickly become obsolete. Lutrot.
True.
Yes.
And that's how he bows out. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM. Up next is our health and wellness series with Lexis Bill. We have Dr. Osafo, we have Wise Lecture, amongst others. You want to stay, we're talking about cardiovascular health. It's very important that you stay for this discussion. I am MF Apau.
And my name is Evan Spencer.